Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. So finally Papa has brought us to the 13th. So far we have been telling about 13th August, about the Mahasamadhi day. He motivated us to dwell upon the various aspects of Samadhi. What should be our mental framework when we approach such days as a sadhaka? How do we make the best advantage of such occasions? All those things. So today morning, we don't know whether you have passed on this to everybody. We happened to go through what Pujya Mataji said on the first Tithi, it was in 64. 25th July 1963 was the day when he dropped the body. So next year, in the vision for August, that is July, she gave us this message. Many of us might not have seen at all or heard at all. My infinite, all-pervading, transcendent Param Pujya Papa, birthless and deathless, who in his limitless kindness took birth and lived among us for 79 glorious years to teach us how to attain his eternal self, capital E, capital S, chose to disappear from our midst on 25th July 1963. 79 glorious years to teach us how to attain his eternal self. Our gracious, ever-loving, ever-merciful Papa was anxious that every one of us should, through constant repetition of Ram Nam and remembrance of the eternal being, realize him within us. He was anxious that every one of us should, through constant repetition of Ram Nam and remembrance of the eternal being. Realize him within us. I have requested all in the ashram to spend the 25th July this year. And later on, according to the city, it came 12th August in 1964. So there was again another slip. I have requested all in the ashram to spend that day in constant repetition of Ram Nam and silent prayer to Purushottam Papa to reveal himself within ourselves. This aspect probably we would not have applied our mind seriously. She wanted constant repetition of Ram Nam. Constant is difficult for us, but as much as possible. And silent prayer to Purushottam Papa to reveal himself within ourselves. I would like to appeal all devotees and friends to similarly spend the day in their own place, repeating Ram Nam constantly and in prayer to Purushottam Papa to make them realize him within themselves. Only thus can we please our most beloved Papa, who is all and beyond all, giver of supreme bliss, and whose love for his devotees knows no bounds. One more line she added. This, my request, is not only for the 25th July, but for all days to come. So the main message Mataji gave us was chanting plus a silent prayer from our heart. You should reveal your presence within me. Suddenly, if we start practicing, will we be able to do it? So we must develop a fellowship. And then when we chant, it may be easier for us. Looking at the practical side. So now, that is before us now. At least before the next year's Samadhi day, we are praying to Papa, you give us the needed push. Like what? Enable me to develop a fellowship with you. You are there in our heart. But I will become aware of your presence only when I start communing with you. That tendency has not come to me so far because I have been looking at you as a person. So now you kindly enable me to develop this fellowship. If we go through Papa's various teachings, we will find this. Especially in Quest of God, you can see many a times he communes, he talks, the dialogue is there. In a jovial mood also he will say, and in a serious mood. At the serious level also he will express. During his Satsang here at that time, Pujya Siddhanti has brought out this in the book with my master in a lighter vein. But that's also very nice. He says, when we talked with Papa for some length of time, we could in our minds almost imagine what a delightful person Papa's Ram was. What an eternal joker he was, who always loved to pull tricks on his devotees. In these moments that will linger in the minds of everyone who came to know Papa well, Ram would cease to be something awesome or worshipful as befitting a divine power, but someone who would be as intensely human and humane as could be. How Papa brings it out, superhuman power, we cannot say this, we cannot do this, nothing like that. Papa gave to us his Ram in the manner of a child sharing its dearest possession with those around him. Remember him, Papa once said, and you will at once have him by your side. Call him, he will at once answer your prayers. Love him, he will at once make you his. Papa would sometimes tell us of his talks with his Ram. We would like to hear the lighter way, first. Because for the other one we have to apply. This is something very nice. Usually the best time to hear Papa talk of his wonderful companion Ram was the afternoon, just before Papa had his siesta for a few minutes. Most of the devotees and visitors to the ashram would then be in their own rooms, and only a few of us would be seated around Papa's cot in his room, eager to listen to his talk. One or two of us would be fanning Papa, while the rest sat in front of him, and Papa, with eyes ever twinkling in this bubbling humor, regaled us with the many ways of his Ram. Now begins. Do you know what Ram said to Ramdas today? Papa once asked us, and then confided. He said that he was getting a little tired of the sacred intrigue. He is asking Ramdas, where are all the fine things you used to get from your devotees? Ramdas told him, it is your own doing. By your will, Ramdas has a guest here now, pointing to his abdomen, and he is here to stay. So you better get used to sacred entry, because that is all you are going to get. Ram kept mum. Papa, one of us asked, what is Ram saying now? There was a pin drop silence, while Papa, with a broad grin on his face, looked closely at every one of us. There were 5 or 6 of us present in the room. Then we waited eagerly, our lips repressing the laugh that were bound to come within minutes. Papa then said in a slow and measured tone, keeping us in suspense, Ram says that you are all good people and you should not bother him with too many questions. We are not bothering him at all, Papa, protested one devotee. That is the trouble with Ram. Papa said with a wry look that dissolved in a peal of laughter, he does not like to be asked questions. He is so used to having his own ways, and he expects to be obeyed instantly. He is Ram, yes, Papa put in a word on behalf of Ram. He is not such a bad fellow. He is very kind, very loving, and a slave of all his devotees. You think he has forgotten you, and you are plunged in despair. No. Suddenly from within you his gentle voice can be heard. Here I am. Only he is very playful and likes to play hide and seek with his devotees. Once he has claimed you as his stamp is upon you. Once he has claimed you as his stamp is upon you. You try to erase it as you will, but it is indelible. You run away from him, but he will be after you all the time. You think you have turned away from him. No, there he is, standing right in front of you. If you shut your eyes, you find he is all the time right within you. Here, Papa points to his heart, and first you hear Ram telling, did you ever think that you could get away from me? That is the time when your poor little ego is finally crushed, and you fall prostrate at his feet and say, oh Ram, you are all, I am nothing. Papa went on, but why should anyone want to run away from him? Rishis and Munis perform great austerities to get him. Kings and potentates gladly barter away their kingdom to meet him, and his countless devotees cry in despair because they cannot remember him enough. Such is the invincible Ram. By then the time for Papa's siesta was long past, and reminding ourselves of this fact with reluctance, we all rose to leave the room. Ram had the last word. Just as we were leaving the room, Papa waved his hand at us and, do you know what Ram is saying now? Ram is telling Ramdas that he is convinced now that you are all good people. Because you did not bother him with any questions. With the room echoing to Papa's gentle laugh, we left the place looking forward to another of those wonderful afternoons with Papa. Maybe at a lighter vein, but his relationship was, it was a mysterious relationship, but a blissful relationship. On the Samadhi day, this is the clue he is giving. Try to develop. Mataji's own words, Again, from Siddhanji, Divine Mother. In the morning, Mataji said, whenever I quarreled with Papa for not revealing himself in your hearts, he would reply, Ramdas needs only as much space as the tip of a needle to get into their hearts. But even this little space is not there. What can he then do? You have filled your heart with so many earthly desires, cravings, etc. How can Papa then get even a needle-tip space? He needs to enter your hearts and occupy them. On account of Deha Viman, everyone's heart is full of all sorts of cravings. We ask for so many things, but not for Papa. Why? Because we have become slack in Ramna. If you do Nam Dhyan Seva, Papa will do the rest. How do you think Papa made me realize his infinite eternal being? How many sit for Ramnam and Bhajan? Each one sits only so long as he or she is to sing. Then they either come here into Papa's room or go back to their room or go about on the petty work. Papa is not far away from us. Papa is within us. All he asks from us is a needle tip of space, which even we can give only if we develop love for Ramna and chant it with Dhyan and Seva. We do not want to do it because we have no love for him. We love worldly acquisitions, name, fame, position, our kith and kin more than Papa. It is not really difficult for us to love Papa. Don't we love our parents and others? All we have to do is to transfer that love and longing to Papa. Most people are scared to love Papa or to make room for him in their heart, lest they should lose whatever worldly goods they have. They know not that when they get Papa, instead of losing anything, they gain everything. On the other hand, if you don't have Papa, you do not have anything. And let us see what Papa says about fellowship. To the question whether God is personal or impersonal, Ramdas's answer is that God is at once personal and impersonal. You can behold him as everything and in everything in the universe. At the same time, you maintain a close relationship with him in his personal aspect. He becomes your constant companion. You can talk to him, you can play with him, you can even joke with him. This is something we have to try. Whenever there are pause moments, we try to bring in this dimension in the practical way. This is true not only in the case of a particular devotee. You can talk to him, you can play with him, you can even joke with him. He will be so intimate with you. He will protect you in ever so many ways and look after you mysteriously. This is true not only in the case of a particular devotee, but is equally applicable to all devotees in all parts of the world who have surrendered their lives to him entirely. In such cases, he grants the devotees his universal vision, still remains their constant companion. So he is an impersonal person. That is, he is not only the all-pervading, nameless, formless reality, but he is also all that have names and forms. As your constant companion, he guides you, looks after you, just as a mother looks after the child. You feel his protection every moment of your life in a strange way. You can look upon him as your father, comrade, master. How this is possible is very difficult to describe. We have read such things in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. He used to have darshan of some living images of divinity. He even prayed with them. But if you try to understand this by the help of the poor intellect, which has only a very limited capacity, you cannot comprehend how these things are possible. On the higher spiritual plane, you can actually experience. Ramdas himself is having that experience. But still he cannot tell you what that impersonal person is like. He cannot tell you what the impersonal person is like. Very often Ramdas tells friends that Ram told him this and that. You will find even in his books how he had conversation with him. People wonder in what way Ramdas talked to him. How Ram responded to his feelings, impulses and thoughts. This is a wonderful thing, but it is there all the same. Ramdas remembers one thing, that all through his sadhana, God was guiding him in a mysterious way from the very beginning. He knew it was God who gave him strength, and it was by his grace that he could boldly walk on the path, hold on to him, and attain the goal. When the goal was attained, he found that he was taken to the path unerringly. God took him straight to himself, gave him the all-comprehensive knowledge of himself as personal and impersonal, the Purusha and Prakriti, and also as Purushottama. God had taken him to his height, and he found that he could be experienced in every life. So Papa says, it's very difficult to explain. So that means that there is a limit. We can get guidance from outside. So this Samadhi day gives us this wonderful clue. Develop communion with him. We don't know how to do it, but start. Papa has assured. Papa and Mataji, they keep on telling, unless we ask, he will not respond. Otherwise, he will be only an upadrashta, witness. Ask means this dialogue should be there. I believe in the words of my master. He says, you are there. Without you, I am not there. So I am doing Ramna. I get some joy, but I don't feel your presence. That is why immediately after the session, my sense of individuality comes back to me. That is not what I wanted. As my master has assured me that I should become aware of your presence. He also told us that initially we may not get that. We will get a glimpse, spark. Papa, Gandhiji, we will even get the sound. We will hear the sound. Like that, no? So we are praying to him, you kindly, the STD connection. Kindly enable me to develop this connection with you. Hereafter I am chanting Ramna and offering the same to you with a prayer that you please make me aware of your presence. Eternal self. Mataji just now said, she said, this is my request. Repeating Ramnam and in prayer to Purushottam Papa to make them realize him within themselves. Only thus can we please our most beloved Papa. So when Mataji has said, we will try our level best, but unless you make us aware of your grace, we will not be. So far it is true, we have not attempted to get in touch with you inside. We have been trying to, all these years, right from our childhood. We lead our lives interacting with persons, situations, and not anything that is abstract, intangible. However, the word God makes us feel that He is superhuman. And hence it's not possible to have the same feeling that we develop with our fellow creatures. This is how we develop, The chosen deity is in the temple, the Mahatma is in the ashram, and I am back to square one. It has never struck to me. I would have heard, but honestly speaking, it has never struck to me that you are inside. In most of such cases, He remains just as a concept, far away from reality. We have been having this concept, all of us, for decades now. Outwardly, we may be doing everything, but it is still a concept. At the same time, from the lives of many Mahatmas, we have learned that developing a feeling of fellowship with the indwelling and all-pervading Lord is the sweetest relationship with Him. We have shared this anecdote with you, but it is worth repeating it again. Fortunately, I don't have the sloka. We have been told, in Kerala, there was a great Bhaktottama called Narayana Bhattacharya. He wrote the Narayaniyam, Bhagavatam in Malayalam, in his own way. His guru was one Achyuta Prasad. So after learning from him Sanskrit, Shastras, the Bhattacharya developed the Bhakti path and then wrote this book. So years went by. This Visharadi, his guru, was getting aged and he fell sick and he was on his last journey, Prayana Kale. So at that time he was about to leave the body. At that time one sloka came from his mouth. Somebody was kind enough to jot down. So his Ishtadevata was Lord Parameshwara. Sirkandiyu is the place. So he was praying when the phlegm is blocking, is welling up, the last stage, kapam. And when the body is getting tired, all the organs becoming powerless and about to go now, at that time, Atyayini Kamuka, he says, you, O Lord, come to me and recite the Tarakam, Dut Tarakam. He couldn't complete that. Almost on the collapsing stage. You see now, the Lord heard, just now Papa said, he will rush. This Narayana Bhattacharya, who was somewhere, somehow he got the inner prompting to rush up to his Guru. And when he reached there, this sloka was there. Immediately he went and said, Tarakam. Dut Tarakam, Tarakam. Dut Tarakam, up to that, this Prasharadi said. Then immediately you must say, immediately the Lord assigned that particular job to his devotee, rushed up, and he did not ask anything. He went very close to his ear and said, Tarakam. Prasharadi dropped the point. That's why, we have learned at the same time from the lives of many Mahatmas, we have learned that developing a feeling of fellowship with the indwelling and all-pervading Lord is the sweetest relationship with Him. Beloved Papa's very life showcases a mysterious but blissful relationship with the Lord. Even a casual reading of the words of Beloved Papa on this subject, that itself gives us inexplicable joy Go for a short time. He said, when Ramdas was wandering in the Himalayas several years ago, he used to converse with him. There was with him the impersonal person. Just now he said, it's very difficult to define. He could commune with him. He could talk to him. Even now he does, but very rarely. You see how the graduation took place. Because he is from within inspiring and guiding Ramdas every moment. Previously, the dialogue, there was still a disconnect. Coming and going. Now, no. Because he is from within inspiring and guiding Ramdas every moment. As such, he is living and moving in a state of ecstasy and freedom. The ecstasy abides with him 24 hours without effort. So on the 58th Mahasamadhi day, we take it that Papa wants every one of us to develop a relationship with the impersonal person. When we keep on praying from the heart, from the bottom of the heart, He will surely give us some clues suiting to our equipment. Suddenly we will know, oh, yeah, He is there. Then we slowly start, attributing it. I was searching for it, suddenly I was able to get it. Previously, it was an incident for us, a situation. Now we try to attribute. He provided. He facilitated. He came to our rescue. So, like that, slowly. Instead of treating everything as individual situations and objects, we will try to connect it with Him. And then develop this dialogue every day morning. Even if it's for a minute or 2 or 3. This is the message we take it from Papa now. Because Mataji specifically said, we should also pray for becoming aware of the eternal self within us. Let us all try to ponder over this vital, sublime, profound idea. This is the quintessence of our philosophy. When he says constant remembrance, how are we to maintain? In simple words, having regular contact. And every now and then, suppose we go through it, we get charged. His relationship, how he was maintaining the relationship, we get really charged. Our intellect may not be able to analyze and bring out the answer because it is beyond the domain of the intellect. It is purely an experience, intuitive experience, to be more precise. One example we are quoting, time is over. During our dream, there is a dialogue, either with us or through. But nobody else hears. But it is so alive, so lively. We can hear that, So start thinking now. It is possible every day He is giving us that experience of an intimate relationship. But at the same time, nobody else knows. Here, that is not there. The dream experience is not there. But it is possible. Actually, when we were going through Gandhiji's, when he took to the 21 days fast, Rajaji came and asked him. Salt Satyagraha, correct, Salt Satyagraha. One day, early morning when he got up, he says, tomorrow we are marching to Dandi. Rajaji rushed up and said, what is this you are talking? We are going to Dandi and take a pinch of In what way he is going to? Just like a child, he said, "No." But he said, "Go." Did you hear? Yes. Like what you said, I heard his voice. And we all know what had happened. That pinch of salt, Gandhiji never owned it. Gandhiji said there was the voice of God. Suddenly he got up and said, "Yes, tomorrow we are going." Especially, we specifically remember when he was asked, how is it that you are in the position? I heard. I am more sure than this than the fact that you and I are sitting in this room. So it is purely an intuitive experience. Every now and then we devotees or aspirants, suppose we go through such anecdotes, we get really charged. Our faith becomes more and more solidified, concrete. And then we keep on trying. We don't have to look to anything else. Papa has, on many, many occasions, expressed it with this idea. If all of us go through the inquest of God, that itself will give us this. Every time. How he puts even Ram into task. And the last portion of the book, outpourings from in the cave. It's perfect. No, nobody else is there, Nobody else is there. And the way the dialogue, how the inner dialogue goes on. So every now and then we keep on reading it. As we said, as we are not full-timers, there is a very likelihood of aberration or dilution in our efforts. So we have to supplement it by bringing all these things into our mind again and again and again. So that slowly he will put us into the path. We all pray for his grace. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. One minute. The September issue of the Vision will carry articles about this fellowship with God. Actually, we were sharing some thoughts from that proof on the first proof. So, September Vision, this inner dialogue, because it is so sweetest. when we keep on reading it, then we have to keep on reading it to develop this attitude. So, September issue, not when you get it, you kindly go through this. Very well.